My eldest son's fiancée has been unkind to my youngest son's wife, excluding her from wedding events and later, in a drunken outburst, called Child Protective Services, CPS on them for using marijuana, claiming their child deserved a better family. For context, my husband and I have 3 sons, Louis 32, Cyril 27, and Jamie 22. Cyril has been with his partner, Rosa 27, for 5 years, while Jamie has been with his wife, Lucy 20, for slightly longer. We're a tight-knit family, as it was only this year that our 2 older sons moved out. Jamie, Lucy, and their 2-year-old daughter, Letty, live with us while Lucy finishes school. We're thrilled to have them, as they're helpful, loving, and excellent parents despite challenges. Plus, I'm not letting my grandbaby go anywhere if I can help it. Ha! Louis started dating Jessa, 36, about a year ago and proposed recently. Honestly, I'm not entirely sold on her, but Louis seems content, and he's been through a lot. I don't want to be the stereotypical overbearing mother-in-law, so I've made an effort to connect with her, though we're quite different. She leans conservative politically, while my husband, a U.S. citizen born in Mexico, and I don't align with the current administration. Lucy, Rosa, and I have bonded over attending rallies and protests, and when I invited Jessa to join us, she declined with a lengthy text. It wasn't extreme conspiracy-level stuff, but more like the old-school conservative vibe, not quite the same as today's politics. It made things awkward, but I kept inviting her to non-political events. Still, that initial invite seemed to create tension. Beyond politics, I've been put off by Jessa's attitude toward Jamie and especially Lucy. I get that a big age gap doesn't guarantee friendship, but Jessa seems to deliberately make snarky remarks about Lucy behind her back. I've stayed quiet since it's her wedding and her call, but I find it strange that she asked Rosa to be a bridesmaid while debating whether to invite Lucy to the reception. She suggested Lucy stay home with Letty, claiming she wouldn't enjoy it since she can't drink. The venue allows under 21 guests, and Jessa's 19-year-old sister is invited. She even showed Lucy photos of her sister, who Jamie would escort down the aisle. Rosa and Lucy have noticed but haven't made a big deal of it, though I find it distasteful. Recently, Jessa texted about the rehearsal dinner budget, and I'm reluctant to spend more than necessary. My husband thinks we should let it go, but it feels like a matter of principle, especially since they're not even having a rehearsal, just a dinner. He pointed out that we currently support Jamie and Lucy more than our other sons, but we covered Cyril's college and Louis's rehab. He's 7 years sober, and we're so proud. He advised against letting politics divide family, but even if Jessa shared our views, I'd still dislike how she treats Jamie and Lucy. I want to maintain close ties with my kids and their partners, but I don't want to enable bullying or seem like I'm ignoring Lucy's feelings. Lucy's family cut her off, so we're her only support, and I don't want her to feel dismissed. At the same time, I know I'm biased toward Jamie, my youngest, and Lucy, who's like a daughter to me. Would I be wrong to refuse to pay for their rehearsal dinner? Update 1. Thank you for the advice on my previous post. I want to be a good mother-in-law and avoid being like Marie from Everybody Loves Raymond, which my boys and I used to watch. I mentioned our political differences for transparency, but they're not the main reason I dislike Jessa, just a factor. I understand I'd be wrong to withhold payment for the rehearsal dinner. Some of you suggested letting my kids sort it out, while others recommended talking to Louis privately. So I invited him to lunch yesterday. Before that, I texted Jessa and Louis, saying we'd love to plan the rehearsal dinner and asked for their ideas. Jessa sent a contract for a venue with an $11,000 minimum. We've saved about $10,000 for each child's wedding, home, or honeymoon. For context, Jamie and Lucy's wedding cost us about $750, much less since their friends don't drink. I didn't want Louis to think the lunch was just about the wedding, so we discussed other topics before I asked about the planning. He shrugged, saying it was fine, so I offered help. He thanked me for covering the rehearsal dinner. I mentioned the cost was higher than expected, but said we're happy to contribute for family. He confirmed Lucy would be included in all wedding events. Then, he got upset and vented about Jamie. I knew Jamie stepped down as best man after a falling out, but I didn't realize how bad things were. Louis and Jamie were always close. When Jamie moved out, he'd call Louis daily, and the same when Louis left last year. Louis called Jamie selfish, immature, and controlling, saying he didn't want Louis to be happy. He made other unfair accusations, but I let him vent. I was shocked, as our family doesn't usually have this kind of drama, When I told Jamie about the lunch, he brushed it off like nothing was wrong. I told my husband I thought the boys should resolve it themselves, and he said, "We'll see." Not a great update. I'm unsure how this will unfold or if I should intervene. Update 2, please be gentle. I know I'm not a perfect mother or mother-in-law, and this isn't my battle, but my family is fracturing. Last weekend, Jamie and Lucy went to a concert out of town. My husband and I watched Letty, and it was wonderful, though they FaceTimed us constantly on Saturday. That evening, Louis and Jessa invited us to dinner. We said we could go out but needed to be back by 8 for Letty's bedtime, or they could come over for takeout. I assumed they wanted to discuss the rehearsal dinner. They didn't reply until after church on Sunday, with Louis texting that they wanted somewhere fancier and canceled. Odd, but fine. Everyone returned safely, but Louis and Jessa skipped our Sunday family dinner. A few days later, Louis and Jessa came over to pick up a ring. Louis has a playful routine with Letty where he says, "Ring, ring," and she shouts, "Hello." Then he hugs her. This time he ignored her. She ran to him, arms out, yelling, "Hello," but he walked past. They grabbed the ring and left. I was stunned. I asked Lucy if we should tell Jamie, and she advised against it, saying it was wrong to snub Letty, his goddaughter, over a feud with her dad. Yesterday, while I was grocery shopping, Louis came to drop something off for my husband, who was outside with Jamie and Letty. Louis and Jamie got into a physical altercation. My husband said Louis started it, but was focused on getting Letty inside. When he returned, it was over with no injuries, but they were still yelling. He told Louis to leave and sent Jamie downstairs to calm down. My husband wasn't sure what sparked it, as it escalated quickly and he was shaken. We're unsure how to proceed. We told Louis he's no longer welcome at our home, and he accused us of favoring Jamie. I said he attacked his brother in front of his child. They deserve to feel safe. Louis works for my husband, who could require a drug test. As for the wedding, my husband suggests giving them the promised money and stepping back. It breaks my heart, but it might be best. Jamie thinks things may settle after the wedding, but I'm not sure he believes it. I'm devastated and wish I could fix this. I'm planning time with Cyril, as I don't want him feeling overlooked amid this chaos. Update 3. This is likely my final update, and I apologize for its length. I'm heartbroken. As mentioned, my husband and I pressed Jamie to tell us everything. Lucy was working, and Letty was asleep, so it was just us 3. Jamie dodged the topic until I got frustrated, saying he's living in our home and fighting his brother physically. If he keeps secrets, he and Lucy would need to find another place, though Letty could stay. He got mad, argued, and went to bed. My husband was unsure what else to do. The next morning, Jamie opened up. On the 4th of July, we had fireworks at our house, and Cyril, Rosa, Louis, and Jessa stayed over after drinking. Later, when my husband and I were asleep, Cyril and Lucy smoked marijuana during a walk. I don't condone it, but I've heard them joke about Lucy smoking occasionally since she doesn't drink. Louis, sober due to recent LASIK, couldn't drive. Jessa freaked out, yelling at Lucy, claiming she was a mandated reporter and that Lucy endangered Letty by smoking while Jamie drank. She referenced a high-profile child abduction case and berated Lucy. Lucy, upset, went to bed. Jamie and Jessa argued fiercely. Jamie called out Jessa's ongoing mistreatment of Lucy. Jessa said their marriage was a sham, only for insurance and their baby, predicting a divorce soon. Jamie retaliated, saying Jessa was bitter about being unmarried in her mid-30s after a cheating ex-fiancé, a low blow. Jessa then said it was embarrassing to have Jamie and Letty in the wedding, suggesting Letty would have been better off adopted by a proper family. Jamie said his family wouldn't attend if they were such an embarrassment, and went to bed. Louis followed, asking him not to drop out, saying everyone was drunk and cruel, promising Jessa wouldn't call CPS. Jamie still refused to be best man and didn't want Lucy or Letty alone with Jessa until she apologized. That led to Jessa's push to exclude Lucy from the reception and her comments about Lucy's spending. Lucy, scared of escalating things, went along with it. Jamie tried reassuring her, but she was terrified. I asked if Jamie thought Lucy's smoking was an issue. He laughed, saying it's maybe 2 or 3 times a month legal in our state, and she hasn't smoked since. Lucy was embarrassed and didn't want us to know. I met with Cyril, whose account matched Jamie's, adding that he and Rosa kept arguing with Jessa after Jamie left. Jessa ranted about Lucy, misinterpreting an emoji, a car, from when Lucy drove Louis before he got his license in Louis's phone as inappropriate. She also said she didn't want me watching her future kids if Letty was around, claiming Letty's young parents made her a bad influence. Cyril and Rosa wanted to quit the wedding, but Jamie urged them to stay to avoid more drama. Cyril blamed Louis for enabling Jessa. We confronted Louis, who avoided answering until we shared his brother's accounts. He didn't deny anything, assuming we knew, and thought Jamie was leveraging us to withhold money unless Lucy was invited. I asked if he believed Letty was unsafe with Jamie and Lucy, who live with us. He dodged, accusing us of favoring Jamie. My husband asked if he could pass a drug test as he was ranting incoherently. Louis took offense, saying Lucy needed testing and made us leave. He later sent proof he passed a drug test. He also quit his job with my husband, taking a role at a competitor, devastating my husband, who believes Louis planned this move. After learning everything, we leaned toward Jamie and Lucy, though acknowledging their mistakes, as Jessa's reaction seemed excessive after months of bullying. We considered therapy or mediation, but on Tuesday, a CPS caseworker visited our home based on a report. They interviewed us, inspected the house, and found no issues, leaving resources for Jamie and Lucy. They're traumatized, clinging to Letty, fearing she'll be taken. Lucy insists she only smoked occasionally and offered a drug test. I reassured her that no one would take a happy, healthy child, but she's unconvinced. Jamie texted Louis, asking if he or Jessa called CPS. Louis said it didn't matter, so Jamie cut contact, saying Louis was dead to him. Rosa quit the wedding, and Cyril, now best man, will only attend the ceremony, not the reception, to avoid further conflict, though he's miserable. We told Louis we love him, but can't support his marriage after he or Jessa misused CPS for revenge. We asked him to collect his belongings, ensuring Jamie's family wouldn't be there. When he came, we asked again if he thought Letty was in danger. He deflected, saying we'd always choose Jamie and that he'd get over it. I said Jamie and Letty might never see him again. Louis backtracked, asking us to have Jamie call him, but we refused. He blamed us for coddling Jamie, saying he'd start his own family without us. I told him to leave as he offered no real explanation. We're keeping the wedding money in case we need legal support. I want to blame Jessa, but Louis is responsible for enabling or supporting her actions. I'd do anything for him, pay for rehab, donate an organ, but I can't forgive this without an apology. My heart aches, knowing I may never meet his future children. I'm devastated and don't think our family will ever be the same.